all celebrating 4th of July, fireworks, lots of food, and we were out in the fun house, and then we came inside, and I was sitting there on the piano bench and looking in, and Wayne came and stood right here, and he said, "I'm going home now. See you later." And we were all anticipating a meeting for breakfast in Joplin the next morning. And those were his last words. "I'm going home now." I didn't know which home he was going to.
We do now.
But we do now.
My oldest son about 15 minutes later, maybe it was 10 minutes later, had followed the path that Wayne had taken, unknowing that, of course, he didn't know. And they get up to all these cars that had pulled off and stopped, and he said, "Wait here, I'm going to go see what's going on." And he runs up there, and he sees this person laying on the ground with a blanket over him. And, you know, he didn't think about it. You know, he came back to the car and told his wife, you know, that family needs to be prayed for because that's not good, and unknowing that it was his uncle. Anyways, so we all did our thing. I went home, and then Ben got to thinking about that, and so then he called, and then I started calling Wayne because he's a little prankster sometimes, and I just begged him to call me back, and he didn't. At about 3:15, 3:20 in the morning, I get a hysterical phone call from my cousin telling me that he was gone. Worst day of my life. I thought, one of my parents, you're not supposed to outlive your kids. And I thought really hard about Andrew. He's just the best dad, and he just wouldn't know it. And then there's the selfish part, was me. He was just the best brother.
He was a fine young man, and none of our children were into drugs. None of them been into drinking. Wayne served in the Army for 4 years. He was very independent in the way of providing for him and his son. He worked hard at FAG. He was also going to Crowder College, taking computer science. He always looked to bettering himself, but he was always a man to provide for himself and his young son. The young man that killed Wayne is a repeat offender, and he is currently being tried, and I don't have much to say about the justice system. I do want to say that our law enforcement are out there doing their job, but they've got to have the backup of the court system. I think when the young man that killed Wayne was literally let off because they had, in March, our legislators said running away from the scene of the accident is no longer 5 years, it's 4 years. Okay, then the judge gets a hold of that 4 years. Instead of tacking that on to his violation of his parole, what they do is they ran it concurrently. So basically, that young man was not accountable for anything that he did to Wayne. What I think is just a simple truth that if you drink, you should not drive. It completely changes your life when you end up having one of your family, and especially one of your children, killed. They're not there for Christmas. They're not there for Easter, they're not there for 4th of July anymore. His birthday comes and goes. And he's just always missed.